You are drowning, and the worst part is, everyone on the shore is clapping because they think you are swimming. This is the silent reality of the modern professional. You wear the expensive suit. You drive the German car. You post photos of your vacation in Bali. To the outside world, you are the definition of success. But inside, you are suffocating. You know that you are exactly one corporate restructuring, one bad medical diagnosis, or one missed paycheck away from total collapse. You feel it in your chest every Sunday evening. That heavy, tight pressure. It is not just stress. It is the terrifying realization that despite earning more money than your parents ever dreamed of, you are actually poorer than they were. You are running on a treadmill that is moving faster than your legs can carry you, and you are terrified that if you stop for just 1 second, you will be thrown off the back. Let me paint a picture for you to illustrate this. Meet Alex. Alex is a senior software engineer living in downtown Seattle. He earns $150,000 a year. By all statistical measures, Alex is rich. He drives a brand new Tesla Model S, he lives in a luxury apartment, and he eats out at 5-star restaurants 3 times a week. When he walks down the street, people envy him. But Alex has a secret. His credit cards are maxed out. His car payment is $1,000 a month. If he stopped working today, he would be homeless in exactly 3 months. Alex is what we call high income, low net worth.
Employer to bank.
He is a processing unit for currency, simply moving money from his employer to the bank, keeping nothing for himself. Now, meet Sarah. Sarah is a high school teacher living in a modest suburb. She earns $50,000 a year, 1/3 of Alex's salary. She drives a 5-year-old Honda that is fully paid off. She cooks at home, and she wears clothes she bought on sale. But Sarah sleeps like a baby at night. Why? Because if Sarah stopped working today, she could survive for the next 5 years without earning a single penny. She has built a fortress around her life.
Construction.
Who is wealthier? Society tells you it is Alex because society judges wealth by what you spend. But mathematics tells you it is Sarah because real wealth is measured by what you keep. Why does a $10,000 raise feel like a pay cut? Why does getting richer make you feel more trapped? Today, we stop pretending. Today, we turn off the treadmill. We are going to dismantle the trap and replace it with a wealth machine using the upgraded 25, 15, 50, 10 framework. But wait,
a moment, please.
Before you click away
listening.
thinking I cannot save 25%,
All
my
right,
rent
I
is
hear
too
you.
high,
What can I do
listen
for
to
you?
me. We have read your comments. We know that the old rules do not apply when rent in London or New York eats up half your paycheck. We know that advice for a 20-year-old does not work for a 45-year-old starting from scratch. So this is not the standard advice you hear on the news. This is the battle-tested, modified version for the real world. We will show you how to hack the 50% rule even if you are broke. We will show you the exact overflow protocol to use when your savings account is full. And we will give you the acceleration map for those of you who feel like it is too late. By the end of this deep dive, you will not just have a plan. You will have a new operating system for your life. Welcome to the masterclass on managing your money like the top 1%. Let us begin with the heavy lifter, the foundation of your entire existence, the 50% essentials bucket. In a perfect theoretical world, 50% of your after-tax income should cover your needs. But we need to define needs very strictly. Needs are the things required to keep you alive and employable. This is your roof, your food, your electricity, your basic transport, and your minimum debt payments. Netflix is not a need. The newest iPhone is not a need. Even that gym membership, strictly speaking, might not be a need if you can run in the park. But here is the brutal reality check that most financial gurus ignore. For millions of you watching this, 50% is a fantasy. If you earn $3,000 a month, and the average rent in your city is $2,000, the math simply does not work. You are at 66% before you even buy a loaf of bread. So, does the system fail? No, the system just needs a patch. If your essentials are currently consuming 70% or 80% of your income, you are in what we call the red zone. You are financially bleeding. You cannot invest your way out of this problem because you have no capital to invest. You have to fix the foundation first. You have 2 levers to pull. Most people stare at the wall and do nothing. You must pull one of these levers. Lever number 1 is the strategic lifestyle reset. This is painful to hear, but it is the truth. If you live in a city you cannot afford, you are paying a premium for a lifestyle you have not earned yet. This might mean moving to a cheaper neighborhood, getting a roommate, or moving back in with family for a defined period of time. I know what you are thinking, but I need my space. I work hard. I deserve a nice apartment. That is your ego talking, not your bank account. Your ego wants to look rich today. Your bank account wants you to be rich forever. This is not a permanent state. This is a strategic retreat. In war, sometimes you pull back your troops to regroup so you can attack harder later. Living with a roommate for 2 years to clear your debt and build your foundation is a move of power, not weakness. Lever number 2 is the income bridge. If you cannot cut your expenses any further because you are already living on the bare minimum, eating rice and beans, taking the bus, living in a studio, then you do not have a spending problem. You have an income problem. In this scenario, you must temporarily direct all your energy into increasing the denominator. You need to stop worrying about saving pennies on coffee and start worrying about earning dollars. This means the side hustle, the second job, or aggressive skill acquisition. Here is the secret regarding the 50% rule that wealthy people understand perfectly. It is called fixed cost living. Imagine you earn $4,000 a month. Your essentials cost $2,000. That is 50%. Perfect. Now, imagine you get a promotion and you now earn $8,000 a month. What does the average person do? They move to a luxury apartment that costs $4,000. They are back at 50%. They feel rich, but they are mathematically stagnant. The FinGraphy approach is different. When your income goes to $8,000, you stay in the $2,000 apartment. Suddenly, your essentials drop to 25% of your income. You have just unlocked massive cash flow without suffering. You still have a roof over your head. You still have food. But now, you have created a surplus that can make you a millionaire in less than a decade. The goal is not just to hit 50%. The goal is to drive that number down as low as possible over time, not by starving yourself, but by expanding your income while keeping your lifestyle humble. This gap between your income and your essentials is where your freedom lives. Now that we have stopped the bleeding with the essentials bucket, we move to the defense system, the 15% stability bucket. Why do we call it stability and not just savings? Because words matter. Savings sounds passive and optional. Stability sounds strong and necessary. This money has one purpose: to prevent life from destroying your future. Life is unpredictable. It is not a matter of if something bad will happen, but when. Cars break down, companies downsize, global pandemics happen. If you do not have a shield, these events will force you into debt, and debt is the anti-wealth. Debt is you paying interest to someone else for the privilege of using money you do not have. Your target for this bucket is to build an emergency fund equal to 6 months of your essential living expenses. Note that I said essential expenses. If your bare bones survival number is $2,000 a month, you need $12,000 in this account. This 15% of your income goes here every single month, like a bill you have to pay to yourself. You treat it with the same urgency as your rent. You do not touch this money for a vacation. You do not touch it for a wedding gift. It sits there, boring and safe. But here is the question that floods our inbox. Where do I put it? Do not put this money under your mattress, because inflation will eat it alive. And do not put it in the stock market. The stock market is volatile. Imagine if you lost your job during a recession, which is when most people lose their jobs. That is usually the exact same time the stock market crashes. So if your emergency fund was in stocks, you might be forced to sell at a 30% loss just to buy food. That is a financial disaster. Keep this money in a high-yield savings account. This is a bank account that pays you a higher interest rate than a standard checking account, often 10 to 20 times more. It is liquid, meaning you can get the cash instantly, and it is safe. For our viewers in the United States, ensure it is FDIC insured. In the United Kingdom, look for FSCS protection. In Canada, look for CDIC coverage. You want boring, safe, and accessible money. Now, here is the advanced strategy that answers the biggest gap in the original rule. What happens when the bucket is full? What happens when you hit that $12,000 mark? Do you stop saving? Absolutely not. This is where the FinGraphy overflow protocol activates. Once your stability bucket is full, that 15% monthly contribution does not disappear. It reroutes. It flows directly into your growth bucket. This is critical. Most people fill their savings account and then start spending that extra money. They succumb to lifestyle creep. You must not do that. You take that 15% and you add it to your investing capital. This automatically boosts your investing rate from 25% to 40%. This is how you catch up. This is how you retire 10 years earlier than your peers. You use the momentum of the stability bucket to supercharge the growth bucket. It is a seamless transition from defense to offense. When you have this stability fund, you walk differently. You are not afraid of your boss because you know you can survive without a paycheck. You negotiate harder. You take calculated risks. You are free. Now that your foundation is secure and your defenses are up, we arrive at the engine of your financial freedom, the 25% growth bucket. This is the most critical transition in your financial life. Up until this point, you have been working for money. From this point forward, your money must work for you. This 25% is not savings. You do not save this money. You send this money away on a mission. Its mission is to capture value, multiply, and return to you with friends. But this is also where most people freeze. They get paralyzed by what we call the casino myth. They think investing means picking the next Tesla, betting on crypto, or watching 6 monitors with flashing red and green numbers. That is not investing. That is gambling. The FinGraphy philosophy is built on boring, predictable, ruthless mathematics. We do not try to find the needle in the haystack. We simply buy the haystack. For 90% of investors, the most effective vehicle for this is the Broad Market Index Fund, or ETF. Think of an ETF as a giant basket. Instead of trying to pick which single company will succeed, you buy a slice of the entire economy. If one company fails, it is replaced by a better one, and you do not lose a wink of sleep. Let us get specific, because general advice is useless. If you are in the United States, the gold standard is the S&P 500. This tracks the 500 largest, most profitable companies in America. Tickers like VOO or IVV are the giants here. Or you might choose VTI to own the entire US stock market. When you buy this, you own a piece of Apple, Microsoft, Amazon, and thousands of others. You are not a consumer anymore, you are an owner. However, FinGraphy is a global community, and we know that financial advice is often too America-centric. If you are watching this from Canada, buying American funds involves currency conversion fees that eat into your profits. You need a domestic solution. You might look at VFV. This is the Vanguard S&P 500 Index ETF tailored specifically for the Canadian dollar. It gives you the same exposure to American growth without the currency headache. If you are in Europe, Asia, or South America, putting all your eggs in the American basket might feel risky. What if the US dollar weakens? For the global citizen, we look at the all-world strategy. A fund like VWRA is a powerhouse here. It covers the entire developed and emerging world. It is domiciled in Ireland, which makes it far more tax efficient for non-US investors regarding dividend withholding taxes. This is the set it and forget it option for the true global investor. Now, let us address the elephant in the room, the controversy that filled our comment section in the last video, gold. Many of you asked, why isn't gold in the growth bucket? Isn't gold the safest investment in history? Here is the nuance you need to understand to graduate to the 1% mindset. Gold is a store of value. It is not a productive asset. Imagine you buy a bar of gold and you lock it in a vault for 100 years. When you open the vault, you still have 1 bar of gold. It did not have babies. It did not pay you dividends. It did not invent a new iPhone. It just sat there. Now imagine you buy a share of a great business. Over 100 years, that business produces products, sells them for a profit, pays you dividends, and uses the remaining profit to expand. The business grows. It is alive. Therefore, in the FinGraphy system, gold belongs in your portfolio as insurance, not as the engine. It protects you against currency collapse and extreme fear. It is a defensive shield, not an attacking sword. If you love gold, limit it to 5% of your total portfolio. Do not let it eat into the 25% that should be driving your retirement. Real estate, index funds, and businesses are growth assets. Gold is a bunker. The math is simple but undeniable. If you invest 25% of your income into the global stock market with an average return of 8 to 10% per year, you will become a millionaire. It is not a matter of luck. It is simply a matter of time. Finally, we come to the bucket that seems the smallest, but is paradoxically the most important for the long-term survival of your plan. The 10% rewards bucket. Most financial advice fails for the exact same reason that most diets fail. They rely on brute force willpower. Financial gurus often sound like strict drill sergeants. They tell you to cut everything. No coffee, no avocado toast, no vacations, no joy. Eat rice and beans until you are 65, and then maybe you can have fun. That is a recipe for disaster. That is a crash diet. We know from human psychology that if you restrict yourself too severely, if you eat nothing but kale and boiled chicken for 6 months, you will eventually snap. You will break down and eat 3 pizzas in one sitting. The exact same mechanism applies to money. If you deprive yourself of every single pleasure in the name of fire or financial freedom, you will build up resentment. You will feel poor. And eventually, you will reach a breaking point. You will binge spend. You will blow thousands of dollars on a car you do not need or a trip you cannot afford, destroying months of disciplined saving in a single weekend. The 10% rewards bucket is your psychological release valve. This is your guilt-free spending money. It is the tax you pay to keep your sanity. You can use this money to buy that expensive latte every morning. You can use it to save up for the new iPhone or a PlayStation. You can use it to treat your friends to a dinner. The rule is simple but strict. When the money is in the rewards bucket, you spend it without a single ounce of guilt. You enjoy it fully because you know you have already paid yourself first with the investments and savings. But, and this is the key, when the money is gone, you stop. You do not borrow from the essentials bucket. You do not steal from the growth bucket. You wait for the next paycheck. This creates a powerful, sustainable feedback loop. You work hard, you follow the strict rules for 90% of your income, and as a reward, you get an immediate dopamine hit from this 10%. It makes the process enjoyable. It keeps you in the game for decades, not just weeks. Think of it this way. The 25% growth bucket is for the future you. The 10% rewards bucket is for the present you. You must love both of them. If you starve the present you to feed the future you, you will be miserable. If you starve the future you to feed the present you will be broke. The FinGraphy system honors both. This 10% protects the other 90%. It acts as a firewall. It prevents you from dipping into your savings for an impulse buy, because you have a designated fund exactly for those impulses. It turns financial management from a prison sentence into a game that you can win. And here is a pro tip for high earners. As your income grows, 10% becomes a lot of money. If you earn $20,000 a month, that is $2,000 of fun money every single month. You might find that you cannot even spend it all. In that beautiful scenario, you can choose to overflow the rewards into experiences, travel, charity, or gifting rather than just material goods. This is where money starts to buy happiness. I want to pause here and speak directly to a very specific group of you watching this. You are in your 40s or 50s. You have been watching this video, nodding along, but deep down, there is a pit in your stomach. You are doing the mental math, and you are terrified. You are thinking, 25% is great for a 20-year-old kid, but I am 45. I have zero savings. If I only save 25%, I will be working until I am 80. First, take a deep breath. Shame is not a financial strategy. Regret pays no interest. You are not alone, and it is not too late. But you do need a different strategy. The standard rules do not apply to you anymore. You need the FinGraphy acceleration protocol. Since you have less time for compound interest to work its magic, you must contribute more capital. It is a simple equation. If you cannot give the market time, you must give it money. The standard math of early retirement says that if you save 50% of your income, you can retire in 17 years starting from zero. If you are 45 today, 17 years puts you at 62. That is a very standard, respectable retirement age. So, For my late starters, the goal is not the 25, 15, 50, 10 rule. Your goal is to flip the ratio. You need to strive to live on 50% and invest 50%. Impossible, you say? I have kids. I have a mortgage. Is it? Or is it just uncomfortable? At this stage of your life, you have a massive advantage over the 20-year-olds. You have career capital. You have experience. You have a network. You are likely earning the highest salary of your life right now. The mistake most people make in their 40s is lifestyle inflation. As the salary peaks, so does the spending. You upgrade the car. You renovate the kitchen. You pay for the expensive private college. The acceleration protocol requires you to freeze your lifestyle at the level of a junior employee, while earning the salary of a senior executive. You must treat your career as your primary investment vehicle for the next 5 years. This is not the time to coast at work. This is the time to aggressively upgrade your high-income skills to maximize your hourly rate. Every pay raise, every bonus, every side hustle income must go 100% into your growth bucket. You do not have the luxury of spending your bonuses anymore. Your bonuses belong to your future freedom. Furthermore, the tax code is actually designed to help you. If you are in the United States, look into catch-up contributions. The IRS allows people over the age of 50 to contribute significantly more money into their 401k and IRA accounts than younger workers. And thanks to the recent Secure Act 2.0, if you are over 60, these limits are even higher. This is literally a government gift designed to help you catch up. Maximize it. If you are in the UK or Canada, utilize your unused contribution room in your ISA or RRSP. Carry forward rules allow you to use the contribution space you missed in previous years. Do not look at the lost time. Look at the runway ahead. The best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time is today. You can still build a fortress of wealth, but you must start digging today with double the intensity. Before we conclude, we must address the silent killer that stops this entire system from working: debt. You cannot fill a bucket with a hole in the bottom. If you are trying to implement the 2-515-5010 rule while you are carrying high-interest consumer debt, you are fighting a losing battle. Here is the rule. If you have debt with an interest rate above 7%, this usually means credit cards, personal loans, or predatory car loans. The system changes. Your 25% growth bucket is paused. Your 10% rewards bucket is paused. You take that combined 35% of your income, plus any extra you can squeeze from your essentials, and you attack the debt. You attack it with fury. You treat it like an emergency. Why? Because the stock market might give you 10% returns on average. Your credit card is charging you over 20% guaranteed. Paying off a 20% debt is mathematically identical to getting a risk-free 20% return on your investment. That is the best investment in the world. Use the avalanche method. List your debts from highest interest rate to lowest. Pay minimums on everything and throw every spare dollar at the one with the highest rate. Kill the most toxic debt first. Once and only once the high interest debt is gone, do you unlock the growth and rewards buckets again. Low interest debt, like a mortgage under 6%, is fine. That is leverage. But consumer debt is cancer to your wealth. Cut it out before you try to grow. We have covered a lot of ground today. We have dismantled the consumption treadmill. We have rebuilt your financial life with the 25, 15, 50, 10 rule. We have given you the overflow protocol for your savings, the international investing strategy for your growth, and the acceleration roadmap for your timeline. But I want to leave you with one final thought. Why are we doing this? Is it just to see a big number on a screen? Is it to buy a Ferrari? No. The purpose of this system is freedom. When you have a fully funded stability bucket, you walk differently. You are not afraid of your boss, which ironically makes you better at your job. You are not afraid of a recession. You have options. When your growth bucket starts compounding, you realize that your time is no longer sold to the highest bidder. You are buying your time back, $1 at a time. When you allocate 10% to rewards without guilt, you reclaim the joy of the present moment. This journey is not easy.
I need to focus on this.
It requires
It's time to work
discipline.
harder.
It requires saying no to things today so you can say yes to everything tomorrow. It requires you to be weird. Normal people are broke. Normal people are stressed. Do not be normal. Be free. We know this was a lot of information to digest. That is why we have prepared a complete FinGraphy master cheat sheet. This PDF includes the visual breakdown of the percentages, the tickers for US, Canadian, and global ETFs, and the flowchart for the overflow protocol. It is completely free and linked in the description below. Download it, save it to your phone, and look at it every time you get paid. Don't just watch this video, execute it. If you found value in this deep dive, give us a like and subscribe to FinGraphy. We don't just talk about money, we master it. I will see you in the next video.